you're gonna show us the proper way to turn this canoe into a hat, basically. In the name of research. That's the only reason I'm doing it that way.
Got a blues cruise coming up next week as well. So
a blues cruise.
Yeah.
I like that. That L is important.
It is, for legal reasons, yeah.
Because it is a guaranteed good time, so says me. Sounds like it, right? It's a good guarantee.
100%.
And for a lot of people, if they think North Bay, they think Lake Nipissing, because big lake right there, right downtown. But this is Trout Lake. Overlooked, I think, from the outsider's perspective, but you're saying this is a place to come explore.
Oh, yes. Trout Lake has got so many places. This is one of the favorite beaches, Cove Beach. And we're out at Portage Park. And over at that site, you can explore a couple different things. You can go to Camp Island, or you can go to 4 Mile Bay, or if you really want to go super far, you can go down the Mattawa River.
If you want to get out on the water, but you're not going to bring a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard, you got people like Lori Schaefer with Sisu Adventure Rentals. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, tell me what it is you do. We got the kayak here I'm going to go out on in a second, but you also have the SUPs that you rent out, right?
Yeah, we've got inflatables, we've got hard SUPs, we've got kayaks, and we've got adult and youth gear as well. So if you want to go to the parks and paddle, you want to go on your own and paddle, we can have the solution for you.
And this is a great spot. So you bring it here. This is not a special thing for our TV show. This is how you operate, right?
That's right. I'm a mobile business, so any adventure that you're looking for on the water, I can help you out with that. And we're focusing this year on the parks, so making it accessible not only location-wise, but also cost-wise for people.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so how long have you been in business?
3 years this summer.
Oh,
so.
okay, fairly new.
Yeah, fairly new.
What got you into this?
Well, I just love being out in nature, exploring, you know, finding new places to paddle and just sharing that with my family and friends and really building meaningful experiences together. And that's what brought me to this business.
Nice. And stand-up paddleboarding, I've noticed in the last 5-10 years, has really exploded. Is that taken over? Or is it more kayaks? What's the sort of breakdown?
I think that's actually an even mix, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, even mix, I would say. There's a lot of people doing the SUPs, but people like their sit-on-top kayaks, I'm finding, is more popular.
Oh, man.
Yeah, there's lots to do.
Okay, I'll go short. You said there's a place around here, Average Joe's or something like that?
Yeah,
Is that around here?
just around the corner, and
All right.
there's a bunch of islands you can explore.
In the name of research, that's the only reason I'm doing it that way. This is Average Joe's Eatery and Patio, and this is Jim Bruce, the owner. How are you, buddy?
I'm well. Yourself?
Any better, and they would tax it, I think. This is a beautiful day you've arranged. Thank you for calling the weather gods. Tell me a bit about this location. You got the restaurant, you got docks, you got a lot going on here.
Yeah, so in February, a month before COVID, we made this purchase. And
That's timing.
yeah, it gave us a lot of opportunity to revamp and put things together the way we wanted them.
I'm not from North Bay, but when I think of it, I think of Nipisisng, huge lake. But Trout Lake is, one, not insignificant, and it's beautiful and kind of got its own vibe. Tell me about this lake.
Well, Trout Lake, first of all, it's the water for the city. To our left, you'll see a big roof over there that's blue. That's the filtration system. It drops down about 320 feet to source. So this lake feeds North Bay and area.
This lake is 320 feet deep?
There's places that are deeper.
Wow.
So it's a very deep lake.
I arrived by kayak, and a friend was on a stand-up paddleboard. Very peaceful, calm day on the water here. But once or twice a year, it's not peaceful and calm. It is the place to be. Tell me about your Boatapalooza event.
Well, Boatapalooza was actually invented by the staff. we were trying to figure something we could do with the water. And Boatapalooza was brought to us by a former staff member, idea and named, and we took it. And so we shift the dock around, and then we bring in the bands, and we invite all the boaters down and people, and they come stand on the shoreline. The boats show up, and we supply everybody with their soft drinks and food. Usually there's about 150 various forms of watercraft and about maybe 200 to 250 people on shoreline.
Because it is a guaranteed good time, so says me. Sounds like it, right? That's a good guarantee.
100%.
Beautiful. Thank you, fella.
Well, thank you.
So Bernie Stockerman, you're going to show us the proper way to turn this canoe into a hat, basically.
Well, there's a couple of ways. With a helper like you could hold up one end and I can tuck underneath, and that's kind of an easy way. But if you're by yourself, there's a solo technique.
Okay.
So you first get the canoe kind of on your knees, and then in one smooth motion, you rotate it up onto your shoulders. So I'll get it up on my knees first. Just like that.
Okay.
And you get your hand under here, and you roll it. And now we're good.
Ah. Nicely done.
Hop under here with him, Steve, and give me some.
Yeah. See, it's most people don't realize it's the moral support that makes that look easy. So you're welcome.
Thank you, Steve. You did well.
Yep, nailed it.
And now I need to find some water to put this canoe in, if you'll excuse me.
Now that you got that portage technique down, you're ready for the Vase Conservation Area. In English, Vase means mud, or slime, and in this stretch of marshy wildlife, it lives up to its name. It starts here on a small bay that was once connected to Trout Lake, but now is severed by the Trans-Canada Highway. While North Bay has built up all around it, the slimy mud and marshland hasn't, because it wasn't primed for development. In other words, for centuries, this has remained largely untouched. The Vase Portage is hundreds of years old in terms of the European settlers and voyageurs and fur traders, and of course, thousands of years before that, the First Nations were using these waterways to traverse. But today, people like me can do it, thanks to people like you. Darren Beatty, Friends of Vase, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great.
So tell me about, first of all, the history of this whole portage route. This was pretty important, right? This was the original highway?
Well, as you said, like thousands of years of use, right? Like this is like what built Canada. Fur trade, First Nations and Indigenous, they used it to get across from basically community to community. You've got these waterways built up with beaver activity. You can see the dams behind us. You've got, I don't know, just a lot of rich history with what not just built North Bay, but what built Canada.
I love that the beavers are involved, that if there weren't beaver dams flooding certain sections, this wouldn't be possible.
We'd be walking everywhere. We would be carrying all our gear with us instead of just floating it nice and easy.
There you go. Let's see an eagle do that. I'm just kidding. I love you, America. Let's talk about what we can do now, though. So we're not taking beaver pelts to go make top hats today, but we're going on the same route and experiencing some of the same things.
Our experience is a little bit different. We've got, 40-pound canoes, carrying those on our backs instead of a 300-pound, 32-foot birch bark. Just a lot of gear, a lot of weight, and probably a big crew that had to do that back in the day. But we get to walk in their same footsteps, and today we're going to show you exactly some of those landmarks to prove that we're on the same path.
What are some of the highlights of things that people see on this?
Oh, man, we love to talk about some fantastic hawthorn bushes, which are not indigenous to this area, but they were indigenous because of the people who came through and ate it and left it behind. And then we've got some fantastic...
Wait. So, I don't need to get into the nitty-gritty here, but, like, you could...
Yeah.
This isn't like... The only reason it's here is because they ate something and we know where their outhouses sort of were?
Without the outhouse. Maybe you just need to take a little roadside break.
Yeah.
We can tell you exactly where the 400-year-old bathrooms were.
How do you do that?
By seeing what trees they left behind.
And they're only there, they're not like...
They're not from this area, so the voyageurs and the people who came through, they would have eaten hawthorn seeds in their pemmican, which is like a picture a meat and fat fruit roll-up. Okay. So it's a fantastic protein bar from the day, but they would have eaten that and they would have definitely had to go to the bathroom and processed it and planted it. So, don't dive into the tree because you gotta see these freaking needles.
Oh, wow.
This is a dead branch, hold on. I'm trying to find something with some berries on it, but yeah, see these? That's not a pretty TV one. Hold on. There we go. So the cool thing about these hawthorn bushes is not only do they have these delicious meat and fat berries to season your terrible cuisine from back in the day, but these are amazing thorns. Like, that's a sewing needle.
Yeah.
So what better way to fix any tears in your clothes than to come to a tree that has a whole bunch of sewing needles already attached to it?
Man, it's like, they're strong too.
Yeah. So normally you'd have a tree like this, and a ceinture fléchée on a Voyageur is where they keep all their tools. Mm-hmm. So you'd have your pipe, your tobacco, and you'd have some hawthorn thorns for sewing.
That's too cool. And these trees, like, you don't find these anywhere in North America?
No, well, I mean, you find them here now. Right. They're part of the community now for sure, but they weren't. And so because we see this small orchard of berries, you know, we know that the Voyageurs were here. And then we're just 10 feet that way is where they walked, and is where we walk now, too.
When you scope it out, you're like, yeah, the pond's over there. There's these rocks in this ridge here, a little privacy.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
Who can do that in front of anybody?
Right? So the portage was the #1 worst thing. This was the #2. Boom!
Oh.
In the crowd, show them how you feeling now.
The beauty of North Bay is that while it's close enough to millions of people in the Greater Toronto area, only about an hour further north than Huntsville, that little extra drive has been too much for cottagers. And so while most lakes in the Muskoka regions are overdeveloped and wildly expensive, most of the shore in North Bay is not overdeveloped, particularly along Lake Nipissing. We stayed at Glengarry Motel and Cottages, which was just outside the core, but only 10-minute drive from downtown. And there's lots of boat ramps around. So this town gets full marks for being genuinely accessible to the average person. Darren tells me they've had paddlers as young as 8 and as old as 80 take part. Regardless of age, the one immovable reality is you need to be relatively agile. This is not a paved route. There are no manicured trails, and you are actually portaging in sections. There's train tracks to cross. Be particularly careful and listen to your guides here. And when they say you'll be going over beaver dams, they don't mean from one body of water into another that happens to be dammed by beavers. They mean literally going over the dam. If it can hold back a meter or two of water, it can support your weight. I mean, for goodness sake, it supported ours.
We're in the middle of a city in the middle of nowhere. Like it's amazing to know that you can get here by car in 10 minutes from the middle of North Bay, and then all of a sudden you've got, I mean, listen to that. It's crystal clear. The birds, the nature, the water is not unbothered. There's not a you know, a cup on the ground. There's no cigarette butts anywhere. It's all just clean, preserved path.
This looks beautiful. Oh my gosh, what an Instagram-worthy spot.
Oh,
I'm coming
totally.
here. But you shouldn't just come wandering by yourself, I'm thinking.
No, we do, with Friends of Vase Portages, we make sure to have great relationships with all the private landowners. This does need protection from some of the folks who think they can come in and just destroy for their own land purposes. But we have good relationships. We've talked people out of doing anything horrible to the original and historical route. But one thing we do ask is if you're interested in doing this, get in touch with local guides, get in touch with the Vase Portages, the Friends of Vase, and let's see if we can get you a really fantastic trip.
This portage route takes you from Trout Lake into the Vase River, which empties into Lake Nipissing. Before traversing the lake to the West Arm and French River, which would ultimately get you to Georgian Bay, I'm told the Voyageurs would have stopped here at this small island where the counting house would have been. That was awesome, Darren. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, we appreciate you having out. I mean, let's face it, you've done the same trip as they did 400 years ago, traveling between Trout Lake and now reached Nipisisng.
That was so cool. I want to come back. Do you need any help tying this down? Don't think so? Okay, bye.
Give it in the crowd. Show them how.
Fishing. Big thing to do in North Bay. Dan Arcand, how are you, buddy?
Awesome. Great to be here.
All right. So, Starlight Marina, you do guiding out of that, all kinds of stuff. Tell me about, well, give me the high level. What do you guys do?
So we've been on Lake Nipissing since 1968. It's a third-generation business. So my grandfather started it, and then was my father, and now myself and my brother and my mom. And so we've been servicing Lake Nipissing and the French River for pretty well my entire life. So this is my backyard.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a heck of a backyard. And I like you found this sheltered base. So it's a little, it doesn't look like it because Dan's got the short sleeves and I look like the wuss with the windbreaker, but it was a little chilly this morning. But this is super common here.
It's awesome. We found the right bay. And yeah, so it looks a lot nicer on the lake today than it might be otherwise, but we're gonna be checking out some other islands, and we're gonna get some gusts. We're gonna get some gusts maybe up to about 20 kilometers per hour. So we'll have some chop, but we're gonna stick in the bays in the morning and see what we can catch.
Yeah, and so if someone's bringing their own boat up here, what do they need to know about Nipisisng?
I think, you know, once you get to know it, it's fairly well marked depending on what part of the lake you're on. So you want to stay to the channels. It's, you know, we're in about 16 feet of water roughly on this side of the lake. And so it does get quite shallow. There's a lot of shoals you have to look out for. So either bring a GPS, you know, Navionics maps, tell you everything you need to know about the bottom.
Calendar Bay is quite circular when you look at it from high enough. That's because it is part of an eruption, a volcanic tube way back in the day. So is this. These are the Manitou Islands, and if you get far enough away or look from space, you'll see that the 5 islands in that 5-kilometer perimeter make almost a perfect circle. That's because this, a day or two ago, was a volcanic tube. So it's not a regular volcano that builds up over time. This is one that's origins are deeper in the earth, and it's a very violent and quick eruption. And so now these 5 islands, which form this really beautiful anchorage, and I suppose that means it's still technically a supervolcano. Take that, Yellowstone. North Bay's got you beat. You don't have a boat, you don't want to rent a boat, you still want to get out on the water? Well, a cruise is the way to go. And in North Bay, it's Chief Commanda II. And this is the captain, Rich Stivrins. How are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for letting us breach the helm here.
Yeah, pleasure.
Give me the basics of this boat. Like, how big is it? How many passengers can we get on it?
Yeah, so we're 100 feet long, 36 feet wide. We are 347 gross tons, which is quite a sizable boat for this size of lake. We can take up to 321 passengers and crew.
Solid. And it's a catamaran, too, so even if it does get a little choppy, because Nipisisng can get a little angry at times, we're pretty solid here, right?
Yeah, the Keach pontoon has its own independent buoyancy, so it keeps it really stable. As long as you're kind of running with the waves or into them, it's pretty good. You feel it a bit if you're taking them on the beam, but we just alter our course and smooth it out.
And you guys do, is it dinner cruises or sightseeing cruises?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah,
all of the above?
Yeah, this is our Calendar Bay sunset cruise, so we have a dining deck on our second deck. We have scenic passengers on board as well. We do, you know, weddings and corporate stuff. We do sightseeing things. We do a 4-hour trip over to the French River, which is just phenomenal. We have a summer concert series where we bring a country band on one night. We bring a rock band on one night. And we've got a blues cruise coming up next week as well. So
a blues cruise.
Yeah,
I like that.
blues.
That L's important.
It is for legal reasons. Yeah.
Here's Uncle Stevie's fun fact for the day, because etymology is cool. And etymology, of course, is the history of words and where they come from. Chief Commanda II here on Lake Nipissing in North Bay is a catamaran. You are on the port side bow, and I am on the starboard side bow. Now, why do they call it a catamaran? Well, it actually comes from the other side of the world, in South Asia. It's from a Tamil word meaning logs tied together, or wood tied together, which you can kind of see. You got the two big hulls here. So why does it matter? Why would they use something like this? Well, it gives you extra stability and extra buoyancy because you essentially have two hulls. And on a lake like Nipisisng, which is only about 15 feet deep and can get whipped up, that will help keep things nice and smooth here. It also means that you spread everything out a little farther, so you sit a little higher. This massive boat only draws 6 feet. My 38-foot powerboat draws 3. That's insane to me, but it's also super cool. And if you don't find that neat, we can't hang out. So, well, you've been captaining on this lake, on this boat, for a little while now, right?
Yeah, I've been on captain on this one since 2003 now, so I've done a couple hours at the helm.
So, first of all, tell me about the sunsets, because I think this is a perfect lake for it that a lot of people might not know of. This might be a hidden gem for best sunset in Ontario.
Yeah, and probably beyond that, actually. Like, I've been to some of the places that you go to see the sunsets. Like, I've seen it go down at Key West and at the 7 Mile Bridge in the Keys and all that type of stuff. And we just get epically good ones here. The sky just seems so much bigger, and especially as we get later on in the season, we get some really bright, radiant colors coming out.
I've really had really good time with you out here today. We've got to see all the historical things, and now you can officially say you're a modern-day Voyageur.
There you go. Does that mean I can wear fur in the city without people yelling at me? I'm kind of kidding. A little. I don't know yet, but I feel as though I'm legit.
We'll see what you look like with your shirt off. Maybe you already have the fur.
I mean, he made it look easy. Also, I did that 7 times, but we wanted to use his take, so that's why you don't see me doing it. Neat.